Officers selling hydrocodone to inmates and people on the street for extra income. You know, this is just sickening. I'm going to tell you about two officers, one from Lake Correctional Institution, State Prison in Florida, and one from the Polk County Sheriff's Office, Detention Deputy in Florida. Both these guys, one a sergeant, one a deputy, were arrested and caught selling their hydrocodone tablets to inmates and people on the street. Now, instead of working overtime, trying to make a few extra bucks to make ends meet, they decided it was better to just sell this. For example, the sergeant for the state prison, 20 hydrocodone pills for $100. And our deputy here in Polk County sold about $150 worth of his hydrocodone pills that he was getting from the United States Army, because he was 80% disabled from the Army and then became a detention deputy at the Sheriff's Office. And you know, the Army gives you these big old bottles of pills, so he was using those pills to sell to inmates. So I'm going to tell you their story. If you like this video, please subscribe. Gary York, True Prison Stories. Now this is really bad for us, because both stories, of course, hit the news, not only the newspapers, but the evening news. Sergeant Sgt Cruz worked at Lake Correctional Institution here in Florida, but he did not get caught at Lake Correctional Institution. He decided to become a road officer or road deputy, and he was working the streets when he got caught. An informant said that he was selling hydrocodone. They set up a little sting operation. He did not bring the pills, but he accepted the money and said he would deliver the pills at a certain date. And then he was arrested because they had plenty of conversation between him and the informant about what the money was for, what he was going to provide for this $100. Now, the real nice thing about Sgt Cruz, he said after he got caught that he never wore his uniform. He would always make sure he got off duty and took his uniform off. Well, we thank you for that, Officer Cruz, or former Officer Cruz. But you know, but in uniform or out of uniform, you represent your agency 24 hours a day. Now, I'm glad you weren't busted in your uniform. Those booking pictures when you're in uniform are always bad, not good, and the media love to use them. So I'm glad you didn't wear your uniform. But, you know, it doesn't make any difference if you think they were going to give you a lighter deal because you didn't wear your uniform. It's a sad thing when you're selling $100 worth of pills to give up your entire career. Now, something that comes to mind, if he was doing this after he left Lake Correctional Institution, he was a sergeant at the prison, as I told you. If he was doing this on the street, as an officer on the street, something tells me that he probably was doing it at the prison as well. He just didn't get caught. And something tells me that some of the contacts he made in the prison probably continued on the street after he left the prison and went to a patrol car. Now, my opinion only, folks, that's what but you know, you just don't start this out of the blue after you go and get in a patrol car. You were probably doing this at the prison as well. We'll never know unless he confesses to some things. State attorney has the case right now, and we'll see what happens with that one. Now, for our Polk County Sheriff's Deputy, this has really hit home. This really hit close to home. If any of you have ever had this happen to you, and I know some of you have, this deputy, Deputy Lucas, we carpooled together because we have a jail called South County Jail that's about a 20-mile drive, and then we have a central County jail that's closer, but he and I and a couple other guys lived in the same area, and we carpooled. There was 3 or 4 of us, so one of us would drive when we had 2 days on, and then we'd take our 3-day weekend, and then another guy would drive when we had our long week, and we would rotate. And Lucas was one of them that rode with us. We knew he had an 80% disability from the United States Army. We knew he had pain pills that he had to take, and pretty sure the agency knew that he was taking these pain pills, I think. I can't confirm that. But anyway, he never pulled the pain pills out in front of us or showed us that his pain pills that he was supposed to be taking. But you know, it makes me wonder now, how many times did we carpool with him when he had some extra pills in his sock or his boot, and after briefing we were assigned our dorms and he went in there and distributed the pills to the inmates. Now, he did not get caught bringing the pills into the jail. Listen to this. This is how he got caught. One evening, ex-inmate is driving in Winter Haven, Florida down the road. He gets pulled over for taillights. His taillights are out. One of our Polk County road deputies approaches the vehicle, and the guy says, "Man, you guys are something else. You know, you're pulling me over for broken taillights when you got people bringing, you know, drugs into the jail over there." Well, the alert road deputy wanted to know a little bit more about it. And this person, or ex-inmate, proceeded to provide information on Lucas, Deputy Lucas, who was bringing pills into the jail. Well, same thing with Deputy Lucas as happened to Sgt Cruz. He was, a sting operation was set up, and Deputy Lucas does show up not with the pills and accepts the money. Boom, he's arrested, and guess what? 3 years Florida State Prison. 3 years Florida State Prison. I can't find his picture anymore. This was 3 or 4 years back, but he got out of prison by now, and I don't know where he's at, but you know, of course he won't be in law enforcement anymore. But this is 2 stories that happened right here, right close to me, and I know it's happening across the United States. Now, listen, we have a few bad apples, but they sure do shine when it comes to the news media. They shine so bright that a lot of people think that we have a lot of bad apples. But as you can see from this chart, there's a few bad apples among a great majority of honest, hard-working officers. You know, I've done some good stories on my YouTube about some of these great officers, what they've done when they found things, finding contraband, finding someone on escapes. Just good news that we want to hear. But listen, folks, I investigated these things for 12 years when I was in the state prison system. We have to not bury our head in the sand. We have to know it's there. We have to be aware. We have to know what to look for. Unfortunately, I had one right sitting next to me. So I'm not telling you that you're not seeing things. We don't know sometimes that the guy right next to us or the girl right next to us is bringing stuff into inmates. But if you do feel that someone is, and you have evidence, it is your duty to report it. Because they also have what they call failure to report here in Florida. I know they have it in other states as well. Maybe they have it written up differently. But if you know a crime is taking place and you don't report it, you can lose your job as well. It's not worth it. Let these dirt bags, I'm not calling them what they are, they're dirt bags. When they sell their own prescription pills to these inmates for these lousy $100, $150, they're not even big time. They're just small time drug dealers. You know, while I'm thinking about this, let me say this. If you don't have enough money to make ends meet, please, please, Keep your prescription pills at home. Go to somebody. Go to your senior officer. Go to a sergeant. Go to a lieutenant. Go to your human resources department and say, look, I'm having some financial difficulties. Don't be so embarrassed that you're going to have to go sell your prescription drugs to make ends meet to the inmates, so that you're not embarrassed. Because what you've done now is you've gone to prison, been arrested, lost your check, lost your medical, lost your dental, your family's done with you. In one of the cases here, I don't know about the other person, but anyway, why? For 150 bucks? Number one, if you've got it in you to bring inmates things, like your prescription pills, I just wonder if you ever took out letters for them. Brought in letters for them. Who knows what else you brought in for them. But anyway, keep an eye out. If you see something, report it. Let's get these bad apples out of here. Thanks for watching. Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe.